Daniel Fabakovic, but a key transfer into the program. Alexander Shosha transferred from Quincy, and he's taking over that opposite role for the Ramblers.
He's someone that Coach said is a quiet contributor in that he's making big contributions, but he tends to be a little bit more quiet on the court, maybe vocally, getting more comfortable, and very excited to be playing here with Loyola this season.
Jake Reed will serve for the Ramblers, and we're underway here at Gentile Arena. The first attack ends up being a termination.
That back row right side attack.
Andre Polamaz, who is familiar to the Ramblers, transferred from Purdue Fort Wayne with the serve. On the back set, the swing by Shosha. Talk about the setting situation moment as Fabakovic goes cross court to the floor. Nice save by the libero. Polamaz sets it, back row attack, and that's in for match. Ryan McElligott out of the lineup as that's saved by Barnett at the table. And out Barnett with the swing. And a 3-0 start for Pepperdine.
Over the net in play, Pepperdine's point.
Of course, again on the Loyola side, McElligott was a first-team All-MIVA setter last year. He's day-to-day right now. Hoping to get him back soon are the Ramblers as that hit the antenna. 4-0 Pepperdine.
Maybe a little bit of a mistiming on the set to hit there, but Fabakovic has whammed the last 2 sets there, so we'll see if they continue that or if they try to find their middle on the backside here. But they've got 2 front row options and then their back row attack on Loyola side.
Another serve for Polamaz. Fabakovic on the serve receive. Smitoyan setting it for Aiden Klein, who has taken over that M1 position. Of course, had Dean Meyer graduated first team all-conference middle for the Ramblers.
And that was an important side out for Loyola. Again, they only had 2 front row attackers in that particular rotation and a great use of the middle to side out there.
Now here's Klein, a good serving middle for the Ramblers. That went up the partition over the top of the court there, and Pepperdine stayed with it. Shosha through the triple block attempt, and Alexander Shosha has the termination.
And another nice point by Loyola. The first contact brought Van Ooyen off the net there. He was able to still generate a nice set to the back row there and terminate.
Aiden Klein, who had a 7 block performance last weekend against Stanford, a 5-set win for the Ramblers. And in the middle is James Eady, redshirt junior out of Newport Beach, California, side out for Pepperdine.
And that's one of the things Pepperdine is looking to do, is to activate those middles in the front in that BIC, that back row quick that's coming down the middle of the court.
Pepperdine hitting .412 as a team for the first 3 matches of the season. As Shosha finds the back line, and Shosha has his second kill. Loyola, by the way, hitting .295 as a team, but the competition's been a little bit tougher for the Ramblers through their first 4 matches. Pepperdine did play UC Irvine, but all 4 of Loyola's matches have been against teams inside currently the top 14 in the country. And Barnett off the BIC, and it's 6-3 Pepperdine.
Nice ball control though on both sides.
Eady serving. Van Ooyen goes middle to Brad Bell, who hits it wide. 7-3 in favor of Pepperdine. Last year's MPSF champions. They won the tournament. They entered that tournament as the 4 seed, and they knocked off both USC and UCLA to get their trip to the NCAA tournament, where they then eliminated the Rams. Fabakovic with the serve. The back set over to Hartke. J.J. Sawa over to Shosha, and has it blocked by the combination of Noe Mate and Grant Lamore.
Nice block on Pepperdine's side. They identified that Soa really on the Rambler side only had 1 spot to go, so they were able to seal that block up. And Shosha said, hey, that was me. I could maybe have hit that ball a little bit differently.
Hartke the serve, only a sophomore. An All-American last year, and he'll pick up an ace. Alex Smits-Van Ooyen trying to go after it on the other side. Almost took a clothesline from one of our officials.
You know, it's illegal for the players to pursue the ball past the pole as long as they don't make contact with the opponent's court. So you can go under the net like we saw Smith Van Ooyen do.
Has a good cheering section in the crowd, being from Barrington, Illinois. And Pepperdine plays Lewis tomorrow down in Romeoville. Lewis currently ranked number 9 in the nation. Went off the hands of the block, Lamore, and still have Cole Hartke on the serve. And the timeout worked. 10-5.
Point, Coach Davis.
Shane Davis, of course, in his second stint as Rambler head coach, his second year of the second stint. 14 years overall, 291 wins and 94 losses. As it'll be 11-5. He could reach 300 wins before he reaches 100 losses in his head coaching career at Loyola. Jonathan Winder on the other side for Pepperdine, also coaching at his alma mater. He's had an excellent 3+ seasons as head coach. There's now a couple of service errors from the Waves helping out Loyola. And Shosha will go back to serve. He's right now ranked 6th in the country in points per set at 5.03. Barnett. Well, I looked over to the radar gun to our left. It said 47. I don't know if that's right on that swing.
Felt more like 60, 70, 75.
Especially within the distance between him and J.J. Sawa trying to dig it.
And Sawa would have dug it at 40, I think. That one might have dented the floor there. That was a hard hit.
Noe Mate with the serve. Back row attack by Fabakovic, gets blocked back. This time in the middle, putting it down is Aiden Klein, the junior out of Evanston Township High School.
That was well handled. Aiden Klein is in that M1 position where we'll see him mostly run behind the setter. So to see him on that 31, that quick push in front, a really nice run by him to be available.
Someone that was touching 11-8 last year has improved that to 12-1 as a junior this season. Is side out for the Waves. They lead 13-7. Barnett's got 3 kills. Polamaz serving. Sawa calls for it. He will set Fabakovic into the block and lands in bounds.
Yeah, Fabakovic has had a bit of a rough start, but I also credit that to Pepperdine's block. They are all over him. They've scouted out of real estate to aim at.
Second block for Pepperdine today, 2.8%. 6th best in the nation, and they had another one.
Fabakovic came down from that one, kind of chuckled at himself like, you know, just sometimes the ball doesn't fall your way.
15-7 Pepperdine, and Shane Davis already using his second timeout. So Pepperdine off to a good start, coming off their lone loss of the season so far early on last Friday. They took on number 5 UC Irvine, dropped that in 4, but coming off a season last year, Jonathan Winder last year in his 3rd year as the head coach, and they made it to the semifinals of the NCAAs. They lost to the eventual national champion, Long Beach State, were 21-10 a season ago. You see here, obviously a stark difference from one side to the other. We'll see what Loyola does now to adjust to the start to this match.
Yeah, so far on Loyola's side.
Now the likes of McHenry and Lindenwood upping their programs. The strength of this conference continues to get even better. Shosha. And just as you talked about it, his 4th kill, he's 4 for 6 with 1 error so far.
I think he's 3 for 3 on that back row right side attack that they've run there. They're feeling it. For whatever reason, Pepperdine's block has not honed in on that yet. Maybe they haven't seen it much. It's not been able to be scouted. We'll see if Loyola continues to capitalize on that.
He was 2nd team All-MEVAC Quincy last year, led them in kills, aces, and points. And he'll take on his former team tomorrow. Of course, formerly Quincy, a member of MEVA, moving out of the conference. Northern Kentucky joining the MIVA this year as Cole Hartke is off to a start of 2 kills, an ace, and 2 blocks in this match. Barnett the serve. Out of bounds.
It's a lucky break for Loyola. Barnett had a few good serves in a row that first time around. So we'll see if Loyola's able to generate a little bit of momentum here. One of the things I had written down was Pepperdine's aggressive targeted serving away from libero, and Jacob Reed, who's a fantastic passer, has really been helping them. And then they sent the serve wide.
Alex Smits-Van Ooyen with the serve, making his third consecutive start in the absence of Ryan McElligott from that setter position. Hartke off the back set, and he just taps it off the block, which goes out of bounds. And Hartke with the veteran play for a sophomore.
Very smart play. I was going to say high volleyball IQ. The set was a little bit tight, and he just uses the hands of the Loyola block. Turn an easy point for Pepperdine.
Edie, the Waves serve. Out of system ball for the Ramblers. Fabakovic puts it over. Back to Hartke. And the dig there. Fabakovic. And Fabakovic looks like he's just trying to find what he can do against this very big Pepperdine block.
And in that particular rotation, Loyola left Shosha on the outside and Fabakovic on the right side. So trying some different hitting, blocking combinations to see who they can get going as well.
That's 4 block points for Pepperdine now. Fabakovic finally able to solve the equation. He's now 1 for 10 with 4 errors, but that's the first kill that he's been able to get.
And I like that set choice there. Smits-Van Ooyen trusts him still, is able to go back to him and maybe get him going, generate a little bit of that momentum if you can.
19-10 Pepperdine here in the first set. Hartke the serve, and he puts too much heat on it as well. That registered at 75 miles per hour, though, from Hartke.
Yeah, that feels accurate. Him and Barnett had, again, 3 or 4 serves each the last time around in which they were targeting that right back corner on Loyola side, Fabakovic. And not that Fabi's not a good passer, right? But they're trying to serve away from Jake Reed and from Sawa to somebody else, and they've done a good job of that until the last 2 servers.
Freshman Aiden Delorier on to serve for the Ramblers. And that'll go off of Delorier. 20-11 Pepperdine. Remember, Loyola has already used both of its timeouts here in the first set. This is a Pepperdine program that has such a long history. Since 1971, Pepperdine men's volleyball. To put it in perspective, Loyola is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year as a men's volleyball program. Reed, nice play by the libero there. Was Riley on the Pepperdine side. Reed around the 10-foot line with the swing and the kill. Jake Reed, who still just a junior, but he has played so much volleyball over the last couple of years. He's made 51 starts over his first 2 seasons in Rogers Park.
And somebody who's just contributed, again, all around the court, but especially defensively. Coach just raved about some of those plays that don't show up in the stat book, but where he saves balls that nobody else in the gym's able to grab.
Yeah, his passing against tough serves is a big reason why he sees as much playing time as he does. It has 21-12 now, Pepperdine.
And you can see Pepperdine aiming away from Jake Reed and away from Soa. So when they're standing next to each other, they're trying to aim for the third person on the court there. Of course, that's Fabakovic, who handles balls well. But again, just Reed and Sawa are passing at a higher level.
Aiden Toon on to serve. A little quick there to Klein. Fabakovic to the floor. Klein again, and that's inbounds. Aiden Klein having a good start. He's 3 for 3. Trying to keep Loyola close in this first set.
And both sides are seeing a lot of productivity from the middle when they pass well enough. Loyola's had a few passes pulled off the net where their middle can't hit, but when we do, we see Klein do exactly that. Pepperdine very productive out of the middle.
Pepperdine players dodging out of the way of the Jake Reed serve. Second service error for Loyola. Pepperdine has 4, and Pepperdine has the only ace so far. Andre Polamaz on the Pepperdine serve. Sawa on the serve receive. Van Ooyen over to Fabakovic. Cross court too far.
And that's that Pepperdine block getting into Fabakovic's head. Takes a high swing, a nice swing, but misses those high hands. Credit Pepperdine's block there for that hitting error.
Polamaz playing it shorter. Shosha. And Alexander Shosha in his first official game as a Rambler at Gentile Arena. He is showing up so far with 5 kills with just 1 error.
Very, very productive from this right back attack. He's still in the back row here, so we'll see if Smits Van Ooyen continues to utilize him.
Klein the serve. Riley will set it for Barnett. Back set to Shosha from Van Ooyen. That goes up off the scoreboard ring and down for Pepperdine to play. The triple block going up against Hartke, but no problem for Cole Hartke, and it's set point Pepperdine.
Yeah, able to tool the block. Loyola block has a nice touch on the ball, but Sawa's off the court, so not able to chase that one down. Brings us to, again, set point here for Pepperdine.
And Barnett will serve the set point. West Hampton Beach, New York, a 50-year senior. And it'll be a service error. We'll continue on at least for 1 more point in this first set. Van Ooyen played in 4 matches last year. Spent 2024 at UC Santa Barbara. Didn't play, though. And now been thrust into the starter's role the last 3 matches. Cross-court Hartke, Van Ooyen with the up. Over to Fabakovic. Hartke. Reed to Fabakovic. Just a one-man block from Hartke, but it was enough. And Pepperdine to maybe play your way in as an at-large. And of course, Loyola now plays, we already showed you the MIVA rankings with teams like McKendree and Lindenwood upping their profile. And of course, Ohio State, Ball State, Lewis are always strong. And Purdue-Fort Wayne has a long history of being a really good program as well. And we'll see what Northern Kentucky brings to MIVA this season. All right, this will be Noe Mete will serve, freshman from Switzerland for Pepperdine. Van Ooyen back to Fabakovic, and that worked out for Fabakovic. No real block to deal with there.
Very nice play on Loyola's side. A great pass by Fabakovic. He struggled a little bit with some of those passes in the first set. A nice pass, and he gets rewarded with that back row quick, that pick up the middle, and a kill.
And Loyola has its first lead of the night. Barnett puts it over. Van Ooyen goes back to Klein. The dig by Lamore. Hartke, Sawa racing after it into the bench area, but the effort was strong, but we'll have our first tie now. And Andre Polamaz with the first set. 13 assists, 2 digs. Leads the MPSF in digs per set coming into the day today, close to 2 per frame. Fabakovic, cross-court off the libero, Riley. So that's 2 kills already for Fabakovic here in set 2 after having just 1 in the first set.
That's like a very tall triple block on the Pepperdine side. All 3 front row blockers knew where the ball was going, came over, and Fabakovic was still able to cut it on the inside. Really well executed by Fabakovic.
Served by Klein. Barnett passes to Polamaz, who sets up Hartke. Cole Hartke up to his match-high 7th kill, 7 for 12 with no errors.
And in these particular rotations, Pepperdine has 3 tall hitters in the front row for each. So Polamaz really can choose who he wants to utilize there.
Barnett the serve. Sawa on the serve receive. Shosha. Dug by Riley. The attack by Lamore. And Grant Lamore, redshirt freshman from Clemens, North Carolina, picks up the point.
And credit to Riley, the libero on Pepperdine side. That's the first time that they've dug Shosha on that right back attack. A nice line hit, and Riley pops it right up so that Pepperdine's able to continue to rally.
Sawa again on the tough serve receive. And blocked by Brad Bell and Alex Smits-Van Ooyen for the Ramblers. Their first block point of the night.
And again, credit on Sawa there with a beautiful serve receive up, and then the Loyola block to terminate that play.
Here's Van Ooyen out of Coronado High School, Las Vegas product. Lamore the attack. Van Ooyen goes back set to Shosha. Down the line, Riley plays it off the net. And Fabakovic, or excuse me, Shosha. And Fabakovic now here in the second set, playing well.
Smits-Van Ooyen and Shosha, though, have very good timing. It's fun to see that chemistry on the court because it's the first time, right, these few matches that these two have played together. So nice to see them clicking well.
Shosha has a team-high 6 kills, hitting .455. Here's Fabakovic, got it over the block. Riley rolls to the floor for it. A little joust action at the net, comes back to the Loyola side. Fabakovic and Sawa can't keep it alive.
That Pepperdine block has been very disruptive throughout both of these sets, but we talk about having blockers who are 6'10", 6'11", tall blockers across the court with strong verticals as well.
James Eady, a 6'7" middle. All-American last year. Back row attack by Reed. Barnett, into the partition that's up there to separate some multi-court action, and that's a great job by Pepperdine to at least still get a ball over, but Loyola gets the point.
And a nice job there on Loyola's side. Coach talked about having Brad Bell in the middle so that he can pull the blocker. And Brad Bell there went in for that 31, the push in front, distracted the Pepperdine blocker and put Shosha in a one-on-one hitting situation.
Yeah, when Bell played last year, played more as that M1. Now over the M2 position, and Bell and Reed come together for the block point.
We'll just keep talking about Bell. Coach also talked about how he's great side to side on the blocking. And here we see him hustle over, close the block up, and put up a solid block there against Hartke.
Bell made 22 starts last season as Fabakovic back on the serve. Polama sets Hartke, and that is inbounds. Cole Hartke in his return to his home state, lighting it up so far with 8 kills.
Yeah, does not play like, I'm going to say just a sophomore, but plays well above his years. Obviously has experience well beyond his years as well, but just what an approach and a hit there. Played
with the United States U21 team at the World Championships, earning a bronze medal. Back-to-back now for the Wave to tie this up at 6. We've had 5 ties now in the second set. After the first set, Pepperdine took the lead 1-0 and eventually 4-0 and never looked back.
And a nice block there by Matthew, freshman, and Lamore, redshirt freshman. So 2 of your younger players on Pepperdine's side combining together to stuff that block there.
Hartke's serve. Van Ooyen to Shosha, and a block touch. And a block point for Bell and Shosha.
Both sides lighting up on the blocks. They're obviously well scouted. They know who's going to hit where, but fun to see both sides contributing with those block kills as well. And then we'll see how their hitters adjust to having a solid block in front of them.
After none in the first set, Loyola has 3 block points now in the second. Lamore, how about 4? Klein and Shosha this time.
Yeah, nice job there by Aiden Klein and Shosha to close that block up. Keeps it right inside. On the line, close to out, but point's a point.
Bell to serve. Back row attack, Barnett. And wearing it a bit was Van Ooyen. And Barnett with his 5th kill.
Yeah, Barnett hits that back row attack as if he's in the front row by the time he swings at it. And credit Van Ooyen, he's in the right spot. He actually popped a few of those up with his shoulder arm in the first set. He was right there for it, just coming too hot to handle.
You're right, it's technically a back row attack because he's launching behind the line, but he's reaching and springing forward so much that there's Hartke, who very similarly almost gets all the way to the net. Barnett's on the left side, and he just dunks it down over the block.
You know, watching Pepperdine having played UC Irvine, I noticed that it seemed like Barnett setter. Timing might have been off just a little bit, but Barnett scored on almost all of those with something crafty just like that. A tip kill to the middle, a roll shot. He's a high volleyball IQ player.
Yeah, that's why he had 15 kills at 522 in that UC Irvine match. Hartke, and off the block, out of bounds, went off the left arm of Reed. And Pepperdine regains the lead, 9-8, and a back and forth second set.
And a nice job by Loyola having their hands up there, but Hartke's able to take advantage of the hand not being turned in completely. A nice hit by Hartke.
That's 6 ties and 3 lead changes. And now 7 ties and 3 lead changes in set 2 after none of either in the first set. I almost said none of neither, none of either. No ties, no lead changes in the first set. Barnett does it again. 10-9.
If it works once, try it again. He's laughing and kind of joking around with his teammates, like, got them there. But sometimes when a solid block is in front of you, dropping it right in front, something they haven't seen quite as often, is more productive than the hard hit.
He's at 7 kills and 636 for the day. Noe Mete serving. Klein with a big wind-up and finish.
And similar to the Barnett kill, trickles in front, but Klein took a full swing, sees a hole in the block, and is able to kind of let it trickle down between the block and the net.
He's 4 for 8 with no errors. Ramblers hitting 104 for the match. Pepperdine hitting 391. That'll find the floor. And Barnett is cooking. He's feeling it. Just everything he touches is working out right now. 8 kills, no errors on 12 attacks.
And Loyola needs to identify that sooner. Barnett is dropping his arm and his elbow, showing I'm going to tip, and Loyola's still back waiting for that hard hit.
Polomaz the serve. Shosha. 7th termination for Alexander Shosha.
And just like Barnett hit the back row that looked like a front row, that's what Shosha did right there. I mean, he's fired up. Coach said he's quiet, but he doesn't look quiet right now in the court. He is pumping his teammates up after each of these kills.
Yeah, I call him a silent assassin, but he's been a great learner since joining Loyola, and a sponge. And I might not be having I might not have the direct quote here, but something along the lines of, it's crazy how much my life has changed over the last year, or the time that he's been at Loyola. After transferring from Quincy, from Serbia. Sawa does everything he can on that serve receive, and that is the type of player that he is, the ultimate glue guy for the Ramblers. And that was interesting where Shane Davis said with Sawa, if he's locked in, the team is locked in. If he gets distracted, the team gets distracted. And he's just he's the head of the snake almost. I think that analogy works. Reed will play a free ball over. Middle. That is James Eady. And Eady with that attack. And they will not challenge. They will call timeout. Loyola will at 14-11. Pepperdine.
Had a well-used timeout, we'll see, by Shane Davis. He just talked to the team, break it up, but he talked about resiliency, able to come back. We'll see if they're able to use this timeout to swing a little bit of momentum in their way.
Barnett's had an electric match so far for the Waves with his 8 kills. This will come over and landed inbounds. And Loyola may have given up on it too soon.
And those are hard sometimes where you chase it across the court and you think maybe it's out, maybe it's in. If I touch it, I might make it worse, so maybe I'll chance it. You're waiting for your teammates to help you out with the call, in or out. So Loyola needs to pick up their communication.
Van Ooyen back for Shosha. Again off the scoreboard ring, right down, playable for the Waves. Long back set to Hartke, and Fabakovic doing most of the work on the block there.
Nice job by Loyola being disciplined and waiting. That's one where they could have jumped a little bit too soon. Waited, timed it well, and put their hands up in order to block. But credit here to Polomaz on the Pepperdine side. He's played 3 or 4 balls off the circular scoreboard above us, as if this is his home facility.
Yeah, they've played Normally that's a home court advantage for both Loyola men's and women's volleyball. They know the bounce is off the circular scoreboard ring above.
It's a geometric puzzle up there. It's a circle, so it's coming down in very weird directions, and Pepperdine's handling it very well.
I've also seen the ball hit basically the roof a couple of times already today. And Pepperdine has not been fazed by it. Bell, the attack. Bell got a hand there with the block. Right side, Fabakovic. And another, and this time the flag kept that ball from going into the crowd, basically. And now Reed hits it long. Pepperdine saved by the Stars and Stripes above the court.
And sometimes as a coach, you talk about playing through the weird, and as a ref, I was always told ugly is not illegal, right? The flag is in play, the ceiling's in play, that weird thing up there is in play. You just got to keep playing till the whistle.
And that ball was going to be out of reach for any Pepperdine player. And it got caught up in the flag. And that'll be 17-13.
And a smart play there by Fabakovic. Timing was off just a little bit, and he pushes the ball off of the block. Pepperdine's block was a little bit early and on the way down, is able to score a point. I think we're going to pause here and clean the court.
That's Caitlin Burke of Loyola Women's Volleyball doing some mop-up duty on the other side of the court.
And both teams working hard. You're sweaty, come down, and that's right where somebody's jumping, so take a minute, clean the court.
Of course, a member of the Atlantic 10 champions that made a third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years. Back set to Hartke, and diving Fabakovic can't get to it. Hartke's got 11 kills. It's 11 for 19, just 2 errors. Also a couple of blocks and an ace.
Yeah, season high so far for Hartke, I think 13 kills maybe, and we're approaching that in the end of set 2, middle of set 2 already.
Yeah, he's
just on fire tonight.
He had 13 against UC Irvine. Now, of course, he seems to like playing Loyola because in the regular season meeting a year ago, that Loyola won in 5 sets. He had a 24 kill match and hit 475 against the Ramblers that day. Had 11 kills in the NCAA tournament win over Loyola. The 24 is his career high.
Fantastic one-hand save there by Smits Van Ooyen. Pass is very tight. Credit also to Brad Bell for being up in the air behind him, saying, I'm here, but watch the save. And just a little tap over to the hole on the court by Brad Bell, earning points. Those points matter.
And Smits Van Ooyen is someone in the last couple of years has been running the scout team for Loyola, helping, to prepare for the opponent. And now he's on the other side of things. And ace, the first of the day for the Ramblers. And it's the first time we're seeing Josh Schellinger this season. The transfer from UC San Diego, All-American honorable mention there. And he comes on for his first action of the season after an injury right before the season began. He wasn't able to play the first couple of weekends, but now available to play and making his presence felt early.
Serving has really been one of the keys to the game or the momentum runs on both sides. When Pepperdine gets Hartke back and Barnett back, they go on a run, then Loyola have a gap for either coach to feel a challenge is worth it. You don't want to lose it if you're incorrect. This particular set, we're much tighter. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a challenge. If it, a hit or a serve is close to that line, maybe somebody is close to grazing the net, we might see those challenges come up here now.
And here's Schellinger, who will have the service error, but he's back in his home state. He was the player of the year in Illinois. Back at Lake Park High School out of Bloomingdale, Illinois. 4 years at UC San Diego, and now finishing out his career at Loyola. Grant Lamore serving for the Waves. Reed blocked. Reed got it up. Reed will go at it. Hartke played it. Barnett to tip. Van Ooyen, back row attack. Fabakovic blocked, 6th year. They're going to be moving into a brand new 3,600 seat arena The 360-degree high-def scoreboard, VIP and hospitality spaces, custom locker rooms. After 56 seasons in the same building there, moving into a new one. And so I'm sure that's going to be very exciting next year. Have a volleyball building of their own. That's Andre Polamaz making it 21-16.
Not something that either setter has done much throughout the match, is take it over into that ball tight. Polamaz identifies that there's no block up with him and puts the ball down. He has a handful of kills per match, 2 or 3 each match along the way as well.
This is Zach Chapin, a redshirt freshman from Manhattan Beach, California. With the serve, Fabakovic makes it 21-17.
Kind of getting back to Coach Davis talking about the resiliency of his team. We're seeing that in spades from Fabakovic, going from first set where he wasn't able to produce anything, hit negative 350 essentially, to now having generated 6 kills in this particular set. He's playing much better.
Big finish by James Eady for his 4th kill.
Very well done. Almost 10-foot line there, and we've talked about on Pepperdine's side, when they get the pass up where they can set the middle, their middles are batting almost 1,000 in this particular match. Very productive.
Polamaz the serve. And it splits Reed and Sawa for the 3rd ace of the day for Pepperdine. And the first for Polamaz. And it's first of his season.
And that's something we don't see too often. That's Loyola's 2 best serve receivers on the court, but a great serve right down the seam. I mean, this is a fantastic serve coming fast.
And that goes off of Reed again. It was so good normally on the serve receive, but Polamaz now has Pepperdine at set point.
And this is a very similar serve to what Barnett puts over the net, though. It cuts hard cross court. It's something that Loyola might not see much in practice, which then makes it hard to handle in a match.
Sawa passes to Van Ooyen, and Klein keeps Loyola alive. His 5th kill. He had 5 in the 3 sets against UCLA, had 7 in the 5 sets against Stanford. Lucas Anderson, the lefty, comes in to serve. He has the ultimate green light when he comes in to serve for the Ramblers. Polamaz setting it for Eady, kept alive. Anderson will bump it over. Here's Barnett, and it's blocked by Fabakovic with the assistance of Brad Bell.
That's well done there. Barnett has not been blocked much tonight. And Brad Bell and Fabakovic, a nice job to close that block, seal the net, and put it right back down.
That's Barnett's first error of the day with 8 kills on 15 attacks. Anderson gets a 2nd serve. Hartke, triple block for the Ramblers, 24-20. And see if Coach Winder, he's going to let him play maybe 1 more point. He might make the decision to stop the action.
He has come closer to the middle now, yes.
But he won't need to use it.
Nope.
25-20. Pepperdine leads 2 sets to 0. The arena, glad to have you with us. Loyola's home opener. And down 2 sets to 0 to Pepperdine, 25-15 and 25-20. See if the Ramblers can make a comeback or if Pepperdine can pick up the victory and head down to Romeoville for their matchup with a top 10 team in Lewis tomorrow. Loyola gets the opening point of the 3rd set.
Yeah,
Stephanie, what do you think they need to do here to make that type of comeback here?
Nice opening point. I think one of the things we saw in both sets 1 and 2 is Pepperdine's serve is being very disruptive. So Loyola needs a better first contact so they can run their offense efficiently.
Have Schellinger on the serve to begin this 3rd set for the Ramblers. It will be tied at 1. Pepperdine hitting 371 for the match. Loyola at 141. Loyola now has more block points, though, with 7 in that 2nd set, 7-6. Pepperdine 4-1 ace advantage. Polamaz with the serve. Van Ooyen, the back set to Scioscia. That's touched. Alexander Scioscia with his 9th kill today, leading the way for the Ramblers. Just a couple of errors, hitting well above 300.
A nice opening match for him at Gentile Arena for the first time here as a Rambler. But that was a great pass there by Sawa, which allowed the block on Pepperdine's side to freeze and use that back row attack.
And that's a mishit by James Eady, maybe affected by the block going up there. 3-1 Loyola. First time today, or just the second time today, the Ramblers have had a multiple point advantage.
Coach, I'm making a sub after that.
Aiden Klein got 5 kills on the day with the serve. Hartke blocked by Bell and Van Ooyen. And a 4-1 start to the 3rd set for the Ramblers.
In set 2, we saw Brad Bell's blocking really jump off the charts. It was a little bit quiet in set 1 in terms of blocking. Set 2, he was back and forth, and we see it opening up again here in set 3 with Bell taking off as a blocker.
He's up to 6 blocks today, Brad Bell. And that's tooled off the block by Hartke for his 13th kill.
And that was a nice swing by Hartke. He identified that there was a seam in the block, one-on-one with the setter and one off the right hand of Smith Van Ooyen. It's a little bit of a mismatch when you're looking at a 6'10" hitter, setter. So a nice hit there by Hartke.
So second time this season, by the way, that Bell has had 6 blocks. And that's out. And we might see our first challenge. And it will happen. Challenge for Pepperdine on that ball. That was ruled out. 5-2 Loyola for the time being. Those 6 blocks that Bell had against Hawaii, that was in the victory that the Ramblers had against Hawaii. That was in 4 sets. Very quick review. And the call reversed. So it was very clear and obvious. So it'll be 4-3.
And sometimes those balls, I mean, we're talking 70, 75 miles per hour. If you blink at the wrong second, a body is in your way, it can be really hard to tell sometimes on the line. And that's why we have the challenge system.
And if you're successful, you keep the challenge moving forward. So Pepperdine still has their full amount of 3 challenges to use. And that's point for Grant Lamore. His 4th kill, also has 7 digs and a couple of blocks today. So after Loyola went up 4-1, 3 straight for the Waves.
And that was a nice set pace by Palomats. It was faster than the normal, which meant that Loyola's block wasn't able to fully close. They were able to tool the block there.
Palomats has 29 assists in this match. Back to a Loyola 1-point advantage. Loyola will welcome in Quincy University, former MIVA counterpart. They've now moved into the Great Lakes Valley Conference, right? GLVC?
Sounds good.
That's what those letters stand for. As that is a point that touched the block. 5-5.
And one of the things we've seen Pepperdine do well in set 2 and 3 is they repeat things that are working. We saw Barnett drop 3 tips over. That's the 3rd tool, outside hitter off of the middle right side combo. So we'll see if Loyola can adjust to that.
Back row attack, Schellinger, but it's a bad. I think he stepped on the line.
Yeah, they called him on an illegal back row attack,
Yeah.
which means his foot touched the white line or in front. Very close, but what a great back row play. A great hit. Would have been a kill if he cleared the line there. It's fun to see.
GLVC men's volleyball. It's actually the first year and it'll be a league as Schellinger gets it back this time and showing you something here with his ability.
And, you know, as someone who I've spent some time setting, I really like to see when a setter repeats the same play. It gives that player that momentum, a little bit of that trust, and it allows, we always called it a redemption set, right? Let's see if we can do it right and earn that kill.
Middle. And the point on the board for Noe Mate. 7-6. Pepperdine. Cole Hartke. 13 kills, hitting .391 as an ace. 4 digs and 2 blocks today. The Barrington, Illinois native. Schellinger will have his second kill. Also has an ace, playing it is officially his second set of the season.
And Coach talked about having an injury, but being back and ready to go. We might see him this weekend, we might not. And here we see him going all the way around in set 3.
It was a little bit of a freak, unfortunate injury that he suffered right before the start of the season. Right before the team was going to head to Hawaii to begin things. And Shosha makes it 8-7 Loyola.
And one of the things I like seeing on Loyola's side here, a nice hit by Shosha, but then Schellinger ran around to every single person to say, yeah, we got this, let's go. Like that little bit of energy or extra chemistry on the court.
Bell to serve, coming close to the net. Van Ooyen, Fabakovic, and Pepperdine went in the net on the block, and Fabakovic was dangerously close to a violation himself.
Things getting a little bit sloppy on the Pepperdine side. You can get a little excited. Remember, Coach talked about this with Soa when he gets distracted. We might be seeing a little bit of that on the Pepperdine side as well here.
Good block touch for the Ramblers there. Sosha tight against the block. Good play by the libero Riley. Harkey cross court and in. Cole Harkey with 14 kills today. Again, he loves playing Loyola.
Yeah, but a nice play on Pepperdine's side to know if they've got that right side backer attack. A nice hit cross court at the setter, and Schmidt-Van Ooyen has dug quite a few balls. He's playing really good defense, but smart to take the setter out of the play there.
Grant Lamore the serve. Van Ooyen, back set, Shosha, double block set up there. And violation by Pepperdine. They call for a net or a handling error?
I think she called him in the net, but it looks like Palomas is saying it was the ball. But we'll see. Sometimes it's hard even when you're the athlete to know whether it was your hand or the ball when everything is so close. So we'll see what the refs come back with here.
Pepperdine will challenge it, so let's see. No, well, very clearly the net there.
We've got 5 people behind us saying that's the net, that's the net. But this does look like his fingers are what pull.
I'd say that looks pretty clear. And both reviews have been very quick.
Very quickly. I would imagine what she's saying is when you watch that back, you will see the largest net violation of the season.
I'm not even sure how Polomas didn't realize that he basically grabbed the top of the net. I mean, I guess in the heat of the moment, bang, bang. Yeah. But it was pretty clear in slow motion replay.
I thought he grabbed the net the first time around at live speed. But again, sometimes it's hard to tell when the ball's there. Is it you? Was it a fingertip? But that was 2 full hands.
All right, 10-8 Loyola it remains. So now Pepperdine down to 2 challenges. Shosha the serve and the error.
Which, so even though you challenge and lose the challenge, you win a point on that kind of freezing of the game, the disruption of the momentum.
Semi-coach point. Pepperdine, a program that has 5 NCAA championships. Of course, Loyola has a couple. Shane Davis was the head coach for both of those teams back in 2014 and 15. And said to us again today that, you know, at that point, as Aiden Klein on the overpass makes it 11-9. At that point, he had pretty much done all he could do at Loyola. He was a player, a very successful player at Loyola, then became the head coach and won a couple of national titles, became the head coach of the women's program at Northwestern there for 8 seasons, and everything came around and worked out well. And to come back to Loyola, of course, the Ramblers battled their old head coach, Coach Hawks at UCLA last week. I hate saying this, but obviously Parker Van Buren graduated, now playing professionally, and an All-American, Player of the Year type. And not to say Shosha's replacing him, but you do have to replace his productivity. And I'll give you a chance to expound on that here in a moment after this point wraps up. Schellinger to Fabakovic, and Pepperdine makes it 12-10. But what do you see Shosha bringing to the table for the Ramblers?
He's an incredibly strong opposite hitter, which is exactly what Parker was as well. obviously they have a different play style overall, but key contributor, earning tons of points. Blocking, maybe not quite as strong quite yet, but we'll see. Coach talked about Shosha having to get used to the play of Loyola, right? They run a totally different system.
Yeah. 12-10 Loyola. Hartke, Van Ooyen there. Sawa will set Sosha off the hands of the block. Barnett, and Sawa can't get the dig, and Barnett's up to his 10th kill. So he's one of 2 waves with double-figure terminations as Hartke has 14.
And Sawa came up a little bit frustrated there. That tip, typically you'd see maybe the right back, the left front come in and crash, because you also need people to stay back in case he hits. Barnett has 5 or 6 points on that tip roll throw.
And that's an ace. And out of the timeout, Pepperdine scores 3 straight and ties it at 12. And Shane Davis, he had 0 coming into the match for the season. So it would be a season high for him. And how about a 4th?
And to do it coming off of a timeout where you're off for, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, you're a little bit cold, and you toss a second one in and up. But again, we'll see if Loyola makes some serve receive adjustments. Maybe we'll see Jake Reed enter back into the match. Who's very good in the back row.
Yeah, seeing Schellinger get his first extended time of the season. 13-13 off the service error. Brad Bell's going to come back on the floor. Libero's sub there. It doesn't count towards your 6 that you officially get per set. Aiden Klein back to serve. The junior from Evanston Township High School. Hartke. Van Ooyen, Schellinger, and that's the 3rd time we've seen him on the back row attack, and the 2nd time he's come through with a point.
It's such a smart set, though, by Smits Van Ooyen, because in the first set we saw him go to Fabakovic over and over in that position where he's off the net, and now instead he ran Schellinger, and Pepperdine was not ready.
Klein on that serve. Barnett down the line. Klein kept it up, then Van Ooyen did as well. And Loyola now gets a free ball off of it, and Brad Bell terminates. And now let's see, Pepperdine is going to be challenging a portion of that play. Probably that Loyola did not, in fact, keep it up on that play that we saw.
Yeah, it was hard to tell. The lines judge called down.
And that's probably what the Pepperdine sideline saw. It was Klein, right, that had the kick. Well,
and the hard part is, did it clip any of the ground in the process?
That's the problem.
Same thing we look at with pancakes. If it gets your hand, did it also get the floor, or was it all foot?
It needs to be all foot and not even a sliver of floor.
Yeah, it definitely hits his foot. That part we can agree on, but does it clip the floor? The officials have different angles than what we're looking at as well. It's up.
It's going to stay. So Pepperdine unsuccessful now on 2 straight challenges and are down to 1 for the rest of the match. And Loyola, good answer from the Ramblers after Pepperdine. Remember, it was 12-9. Pepperdine called timeout, and they came out on that timeout and took a 13-12 lead. And now Loyola's answered back. Part of that resiliency that Shane Davis talked about. Overpass, Fabakovic.
That's also one of those non-statistical aces, right? It doesn't go down in the record book and the stat book for Klein, but it essentially generates a point immediately because you get that overpass kill that Fabakovic is able to put down. And Fabi turns around and says, great job to Klein.
Substitution on the Pepperdine side on the serve receive. Jose Gomez has come on. A sophomore from Cuba. And Klein, service error.
Yeah, just wide, though. That's a good miss over the net, very close to the end line. Make Pepperdine determine whether it's in or out.
So Loyola, a 2-point advantage here in the 3rd. Barnett on the serve. He has an ace today to go along with 10 kills. Sawa to Van Ooyen. Sosha, that's going to go out of play. And Alexander Sosha has his 11th kill.
And that ball went off Pepperdine into the 8th or 9th row. In the stands, that ball was hit hard. And at Barnett, who's very good defensively, coming in too fast to handle. So great kill there by Sosha.
2nd straight match that Sosha's had 11 kills. He had 11 in the UCLA match where he also had 6 aces against the Bruins. Right side, Hartke, and that's going to go in the crowd the other way. So Hartke hit that one pretty hard as well.
Very much so. It's almost the exact same play, the other direction. Great set choice, though, on Pepperdine's side. They put their right side hitter in a one-on-one situation, so they only had one blocker to hit around.
Zach Chapin, we've seen a couple of times now as a serving sub. A lefty for the Waves, and he picks up the ace. His second of the season.
Of Pepperdine's aces today, quite a few of them are going cross-court hard to the sideline. They're kind of dying away from the passer. Very difficult to handle.
That's 7 aces now for Pepperdine today. Fabakovic cross court. Free ball here for the Ramblers. Van Ooyen, back set. Fabakovic off the hands of the block. And Daniel Fabakovic, after a tough start in this one, will now get above the 0 mark. 10 kills on the day, hitting 0-30.
He's had to work very hard to get there, albeit in sets 2 and 3, he's probably been hitting 300 or 400, but had a big hole there to dig himself out of and has done it very nicely.
That serve grazed the net on the way by. Hartke changes thing up midair. Sawa went to the floor to play it. Schellinger, great dig in the back by Barnett. Van Ooyen goes to Shosha. No touch. Point goes to Pepperdine.
The match in terms of challenges and timeouts generating service errors.
Hartke will serve. 15 kills today. To the floor, Fabakovic. Sosha. And everybody got out of the way again. They're tied at 18. Both teams have one timeout left here in the third set. Loyola has 2 challenges to use if needed. Pepperdine has 1. 25-15, 25-20 for the Waves for this 2-0 advantage. Sosha will pick up point 19 for the Ramblers here in the third set.
And again, like that set, we've seen Smith Van Ooyen repeat sets when a hitter makes an error. Maybe it's not the best set, giving them the chance to hit again. That time having to run Sosha in front of him, and Sosha able to hit that hard cross court for a point. Really like that play by Smith Van Ooyen and Sosha.
Lucas Anderson in for the second time today to serve. And he'll only get the 1. Tied at 19.
Over and in again, Pepperdine has been very productive when they're able to utilize their middles. They're very pin heavy. They like to set Hartke, Lamoria when he's in, Barnett. So it's nice to see them get their middle in and active when the pass is nice.
Here's Gomez, who's seeing his first action of the season today. His first serve. Schellinger, who's also seeing his first action of the season, picks up the kill on the left side.
And Schellinger is definitely a spark plug on the Loyola side. In the back row, in the front row, you can tell he's someone that the athletes are looking to as a grad student, right? So he's your most senior player on the court in terms of how long he's been around at the college level.
Sosha the serve. Barnett, and that got the block, and Ryan Barnett has his 11th kill. Tied at 20. Yeah, by the way, Schellinger has played, he came in late in the second set. This has played this entire set, basically. He's got 4 kills, 1 error, hitting 500, 4 digs, an ace. So he's really performed well. Aiden Toon, redshirt junior from Honolulu. With the serve for the Waves. And Schellinger, we were talking about him, and he adds a 5th kill.
Yeah, and it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes you talk about someone and give them the announcer's jinx. So it's nice to not always jinx the person, right? So, yay.
And now he is back to serve.
So we'll see how that holds. But
he has the lone ace that the Ramblers have had today. Polamats. Got it to Barnett. Sosha off the block. It's Sosha with his 13th kill. 22-20 Loyola here in the third. Turn the favor from Loyola's win in Malibu last year. Although they got the revenge that they really wanted in the NCAA tournament. It's Van Ooyen comes up big.
And that's one of those like energetic momentum building plays. That's a setter, undersized, then against an outside, blocking the senior All-American on Pepperdine's side. Loyola needs to ride that momentum.
He's been involved in 4 blocks today, but that was most certainly his first solo stuff of the day. 23-21, and Polomat's back to serve. He's been dangerous. 4 aces with 36 assists, 2 kills, 6 digs, and 2 blocks for the former mastodon of Purdue Fort Wayne. Sosha. No touch is the ruling. Timeout Loyola. Pepperdine within 1, 23-22. Remember, Loyola went to extras against UCLA in the 3rd set last weekend. They lost it 26-24. The other sets they lost were 25-23 and 25-19. And some of the highlights of this one. Sosha. And been a battle with him and Barnett and Hartke really on the other side for Pepperdine.
And then we see Schellinger contributing now in that. So again, the pin hitters on both sides have been putting on a performance all around. And then that last one, obviously, a Sosha hitting error. He looked a little frustrated with himself. Timing was off just a little. I don't think the set led him as much as he needed to be led in the back row, but he also probably didn't want to hit it out right then. I'm sorry, hey, whoa, it got, I just kind of mishit it and out it went. I wouldn't be surprised if Loyola finds him again out of serve receive here.
Saw some members of the Loyola softball team in attendance. That season, I know it's hard to believe, but softball season actually starts in 2 weeks. Now, of course,
that's indoor, right, Scott?
Of course, they will be playing somewhere either indoors or like Florida to start, as a lot of schools will do. But, yep, it's almost softball season. And see how the Ramblers softball team will do starting in a couple of weeks. Men's volleyball here with their home opener. Locked in a battle here in the 3rd set. Tied at 23 as Pepperdine trying to close it down.
And that clipped the tape. That serve was very close to not coming over. An aggressive serve, though, by Polomatz and earns another ace.
5 on the
23.
day. Sawa able to play that one. Van Ooyen tracks it. Fabakovic, the triple block goes up against him. Here's Hartke, and it's blocked by Fabakovic and Klein to get Loyola to set point.
And that's one of those plays that in set 1, Hartke was almost unstoppable. Anytime they dished the ball out, a kill. So credit there to Loyola's side for reading that, closing the block, and earning that point.
There's Tyler Howard, who has played sparingly to begin this season. He had an injury late in the fall that he's been battling back from. Riley does a great job. But that landed in. It just caught the line. And no argument from Loyola. And we'll play extra points. Yeah, it looked like it. Hartke now with 16 kills. Barnett the serve. Fabakovic. And that landed out of bounds, so it's point Loyola. 2nd set point for the Ramblers.
And these are the types of rallies and moments that both of the coaches want their teams in. These high intensity, on the line, top 10 types of rallies that they're going to see at the end of the season in conference tournament play and NCAA tournament play.
Van Ooyen the serve. Hartke off of Schellinger. 25 all. 17 kills now for Cole Hartke. And a 24 against the Ramblers last year in the 5-set regular season match. Fabakovic. And Loyola will have its 3rd set point.
That hit might have been heading out. Edie touched it, so obviously Loyola kill, but just one of those where sometimes you can't pull your platform back or you're not sure this ball's coming very fast, but a point's a point.
26-26. Loyola with 3 chances to extend this to a 4th set.
That's a Berkmeyer UIUC play.
Oh, Sawa and Schellinger come together, they collide, and they're still able to work it out. And Shosha with his 14th kill. How about a 4th set point opportunity for the Ramblers?
Yeah, and a great job again by Brad Bell running in front of the setter and distracting Pepperdine's middle to put Shosha in a one-on-one situation. Their giant hole to hit into.
Back row attack. Barnett with his 12th kill.
He's been very effective on that Bick, that quick back row attack down the middle. When Pepperdine has that timing down well. And Fabakovic was in the right spot. He almost had it up, but it was just coming in too quick to handle.
Gomez the serve. That's an error.
Maybe credit the environment here to that. I haven't heard the fans in Gentile Arena be this loud in a while at a volleyball match. They are kind of the 7th player on Loyola's side of the court right now, that home court advantage.
This is a 5th set point chance for the Ramblers. They get an overpass off the Shosha serve. Van Ooyen, back row attack, Fabakovic gets blocked. And in the middle was Noe Mete. He's got 5 blocks in this one. Tied at 28.
Yeah, nice job by Pepperdine. They actually had 3 blockers up on that. I think if I were Loyola, I might be looking at Shosha on that right back attack. So we'll see where they decide to go here. Schillinger has been hitting very well this set.
Pepperdine has fended off 5 set points. Shosha. No touch the ruling, but Shane Davis immediately going to challenge that there was a touch at the net. If not, Pepperdine would get their first match point attempts.
And this will be very similar to the challenge that we saw the last time around, where they're looking to see, do the fingers look like they move? And again, we need irrefutable evidence that there was a touch. It looks like he hits pretty high. If it is, it's going to be a fingernail.
Oh, I mean, what's the P on this image, dude?
Yeah, so I think in this case, also think about Shane Davis, like you said, you can't take the challenges with you. You don't have a timeout left. You're down 29-28, so you just go for it, get a chance to talk.
And bring him in, say, hey, here's what we're going to run. We want our middle to commit loudly down the middle. We're just taking a break here now. He's talking to the down ref. You're creating some distraction. It's good coaching. And now Loyola comes back out, maybe knowing what you want to run, maybe freezing the server who serves out. So, you know, we'll see.
So first match point attempt now for Pepperdine after fighting off 5 Loyola set points. Mate the serve. Van Ooyen, Klein the attack, and Pepperdine is gonna get the victory. 30-28 in the 3rd set to win it 3 sets to 0.